Imagine you are standing alone in a quiet room, with no one around to distract you, no noise pulling at your attention. What do you feel in that moment? Do you find peace, or does the silence make you uneasy? Have you ever wondered if true strength comes from others, or if it is something we must build quietly within ourselves? In a world that pushes us constantly toward connection and distraction, it is natural to fear being alone. We ask ourselves daily, am I missing out? Will being single leave me incomplete? But what if the answer is the opposite? What if choosing solitude is not about loneliness, but about choosing freedom? Take this simple example. A tree grows stronger not because it leans on other trees, but because its roots dig deep into the earth. The wind may shake it, but it does not break easily. So too, a person who learns to stand alone becomes unshakable. Welcome to Book Boost, a place where we dive deep into thoughts that transform, where every word is a step toward inner power. If you want to change the way you see yourself and the world, then please hit like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your journey to strength begins here. We live in a time when emotions rush like storms inside us, pulling us toward fear, jealousy, or regret. But the wise know, emotions are waves, not the ocean itself. They rise and fall, but the deep calm beneath is ours to hold. Choosing to be single is not about avoiding love or connection. It is about mastering ourselves first. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When we stop depending on others to fill our happiness, we start to fill it from within. We gain control over our desires instead of letting desires control us. This self-control is not easy, it demands courage, and it asks us to face discomfort. But the reward is freedom. Freedom from the chaos of emotions that chain us. So ask yourself, are you ready to find strength in solitude? To be your own foundation, firm and steady? The path is not simple, but it is the path of true power. Love without attachment, freedom without dependence. To love without attachment, what does this mean? Many think love is about holding tight, about clinging so fiercely that losing the other feels like losing oneself. But what if true love is the opposite? What if it is the quiet space between two souls that are strong alone and yet choose to walk together freely? When we depend on others for our happiness, we give away our power. We become vulnerable not because of love, but because we are afraid of being alone. The Stoics teach us that no outside thing should have control over our peace of mind. If your joy depends on another's presence or approval, then you have placed your peace on a shaky throne. The great philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If we react to love as if it is a lifeline, then the moment it slips, we drown. But if we learn to love without needing, to care without clinging, then love becomes a choice, a gift, not a prison. Imagine a bird in a cage. The bird loves the air beyond the bars, but it cannot fly there. It feels trapped. But if the bird is free, it can return to the nest whenever it wishes, and it can also soar alone. So too with love. When love demands possession, it cages us. When love allows freedom, it liberates us. We are not here to complete another person, for no one is incomplete. The idea that we need another to be whole is a myth that traps us in suffering. True wholeness is found inside, in the hard work of knowing oneself, accepting oneself, and being enough for oneself. To build this kind of love, we must practice self-control. The desire to control others, to demand their presence, to expect their constant attention, all these desires must be examined and understood. Why do we want these things? Because our mind fears emptiness, fears being small and alone. But emptiness is not to be feared. It is the space where growth begins. Seneca wrote, "He is most powerful who has power over himself." In love, this means having power over our desires and fears. It means not allowing jealousy, not allowing anger or sadness to dictate our thoughts. It means watching our emotions like a calm observer, knowing they come and go, but we remain steady. When we love with attachment, every disappointment wounds deeply. But when we love with freedom, disappointment becomes a teacher, not a tormentor. We learn patience, we learn acceptance, we learn to let go without losing ourselves. Dependence is the enemy of freedom. Freedom is not just the absence of chains, but the presence of self-mastery. When we depend on another for our mood, our confidence, or our sense of worth, we become fragile. But when we carry these inside us, no storm outside can break us. The mind that masters itself finds peace even in the harshest solitude. It does not fear loss because it knows that nothing outside can take away its inner calm. Love then becomes a joyful sharing, not a desperate need. Do not confuse love with possession. Love is not a chain, it is a bridge. It connects two free souls who choose each other every day without fear or demand. This is the highest form of love, and it is what frees us to be fully ourselves. When we strip away the illusions of need and expectation, we see love clearly for the first time. It is not the fuel for our survival, it is the fragrance of a soul at peace. And it is this peace that makes being single not a weakness, but a great strength. To live this way is not easy. The mind will rebel, the heart will ache with old habits and fears. But every time we practice letting go, we grow stronger. Every time we choose freedom over fear, we reclaim our power. We are not meant to depend on others for our happiness. We are meant to be whole, to be complete, to be unbreakable. Then, if love comes, it comes as a bonus, not a necessity. It is something to enjoy, to share, but never something to rely on. So, to be single is not to be lonely. It is to be free. Free to build your life on your own terms. Free to love without chains. Free to find joy within, untouched by the chaos outside. This freedom is the gift the Stoics offer us. It is a hard-earned treasure, guarded by discipline and self-control. But once held, it cannot be lost. Choose love without attachment. Choose freedom without dependence. In doing so, you become not a slave to emotions, but the master of your own fate. This is the true power of being single. The art of emotional mastery in a world that craves chaos. We live in a world where emotions are like wildfires, unpredictable and consuming. Every day, we face storms of anger, fear, sadness, and desire that threaten to sweep us away. Yet, the true strength lies not in avoiding these emotions, but in mastering them. To live without control over our feelings is to be a leaf blown endlessly by the wind. But to govern them is to become the calm eye in the storm. This is the art we must all learn. Imagine a man walking through a busy marketplace. The noise is loud, the smells overwhelming, and people shout from all directions. This man remains calm. He does not shout back, does not lose himself to frustration. Instead, he watches with quiet eyes, his mind steady like a deep lake, reflecting what happens around him without disturbance. This man has learned emotional mastery not by denying his feelings, but by understanding them. The ancient philosophers knew this well. Seneca said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." What does it mean to master yourself? It means to recognize that emotions are natural, but you do not have to be ruled by them. You can observe your anger without letting it consume you. You can feel sadness without surrendering to despair. This is the path to true freedom. We are often told that love, attachment, and passion are what give life meaning. But unchecked, they can bind us like chains. When we depend on others for our happiness, we give away our power. The wise do not deny love, they accept it, but they do not build their happiness on it. They build it inside themselves, firm and unshakable. Imagine a ship sailing on the ocean. If the ship is tied to another, it can be pulled off course. But if it steers itself with a steady hand, it can weather the wildest storms. So must we steer ourselves. Our emotions are the ocean, our mind is the captain. The better the captain, the less the ship is tossed. Overcoming destructive emotions does not mean becoming cold or distant. It means being strong enough to feel deeply, yet wise enough not to be overwhelmed. When jealousy strikes, we pause and ask, is this feeling helping me? Or is it harming me? When fear arises, we remind ourselves, what is within my control? What is outside of it? This question, taught by Epictetus, is the cornerstone of emotional strength. The world will always try to provoke us, to stir our fears and desires. It is designed to keep us distracted and dependent. But inside us lies a sanctuary, a place of reason, calm, and power. This inner fortress is built through daily practice, through watching ourselves closely and refusing to be swept away. The art of emotional mastery also teaches us patience. Emotions rise quickly but often pass just as fast. If we react in haste, we lose control. But if we wait, watch, and understand, we regain it. This patience is not weakness. It is a quiet strength that grows with every moment we resist the urge to lose ourselves. We are not alone in this struggle. The great Stoics faced their own storms. Marcus Aurelius, a mighty emperor, wrote about fighting his inner battles daily. Seneca, imprisoned and persecuted, found peace through his philosophy. Their lives teach us that mastery is possible, even in the darkest times. When we master our emotions, we also free ourselves from the chaos of external events. We understand that pain, loss, and disappointment are parts of life that we cannot always change. But how we respond to them is within our power. We can choose to grow stronger or be crushed. The choice is ours. This mastery is not a destination but a journey. It asks us to look inside every day, to question our reactions, to practice self-control. It requires courage because the easiest path is to give in. But those who choose the harder path discover a life of peace and power unlike any other. So, we must strive to be like the oak tree, standing firm through every storm, its roots deep in the earth of reason and self-control. The winds of emotion may shake its branches, but the trunk remains unmoved. This is the legacy of true strength. When we learn the art of emotional mastery, we begin to see the world differently. We see challenges as opportunities to grow. We see people as teachers, not threats. We see ourselves as creators of our own destiny, not victims of circumstance. This strength draws others toward us, not because we seek approval, but because calm power is magnetic. It does not demand, it inspires. It does not break, it builds. And in this, we find the deepest fulfillment. Let us then embrace the quiet power of mastering our emotions. Let us walk the path of reason, fortitude, and self-control. For in this lies freedom, not from life's troubles, but from their power over us. And that is a victory beyond measure.